The Fabian Society was started in 1884 in London. And when Orwell wrote his book 1984, he was trying to tell us what the world would look like after 100 years of Fabians. The name Fabian Society comes from Marcus Fabius Maximus, who was a Roman general, fought Hannibal. His strategy was incremental, no open battle, no big conflict, little skirmish and withdraw, skirmish and withdraw, skirmish and withdraw, wearing down the enemy. Then when the enemy was worn down, strike suddenly. So that's what I was talking about earlier, the crisis phase. We might be approaching that crisis phase. Things have been worn down so much over such a long time that society is ripe for this now. So part of their agenda is to destroy the old world and reconstruct it from the ground up. They have to destroy, in particular, the ethos or the values, like I was talking about, the sense of justice, the sense of constitutional integrity, the belief in the freedom of speech, the separation of powers. All that has to be broken down. We have to get a politicized judiciary that just follows a politicized police force, so that in England right now, the police are really busy arresting people for mean tweets, and so on. Now, Marx was against concentrated capital. The Fabians were against all private property, own nothing and be happy. So
that
this, of course,
familiar.
is something, it sounds familiar. It's coming from the World Economic Forum. So a lot of Fabianism is reflected in a number of these think tanks and organizations. And then we talked about moral relativism and utopianism, which is a big part of this. If you really believe in something, like if you're really ideologically committed to something, that's when the utilitarianism comes in. In order to bring in this utopia, if we have to kill a large number of people, that's okay because it's justified because we're bringing in utopia. You have to be really sure of yourself, though, which they are. They really believe that this is going to happen, and they believe it right up until the time they come face to face with reality. They have to change the religion for political purposes, and it's been part of my thesis all along that, having been once a fundamentalist, that religion shows up in corporations. I once thought that the church was a business disguised as a religion, and a corporation is a religion disguised as a business. Mm-hmm. And politics, it's all the same thing. Instead of church doctrines, you have company policies, or you have, in the case of political parties, their party platform. The Fabian Society was very much in favor of eugenics, that is to say, eliminating the sickly, the infirm, the disabled, the retarded. And today we're seeing that show up as MAID, medical assistance in dying, which is, for people who are terminally ill with no hope. There's some justification for it. But they're now extending it to homeless people, telling homeless people, your life is not very good. You sure you want to leave? You don't want to leave this earth? And here again, we see recruit the wealthy, capitalist friendly. Now remember that the Fabian Society gave birth to the Labour Party in Britain. They were all Fabians, and today we have the Labour Party in power. Keir Starmer is a Fabian. 3/4 of his government belonged to the Fabian Society. The arch Fabian was Tony Blair, who was responsible for the illegal war in Iraq. He should be on trial in The Hague, but he's always being trotted out as some kind of elder statesman. So there you have the Labor Party has is not supposed to be in favor of eugenics, eliminating infirm people, or the first thing Starmer did when he got into power was eliminate the winter fuel allowance, and 3,000 elderly people died of hypothermia.
Really?
Government statistics, and this is supposed to be the Labor Party. So my point is, when you're looking at the mask, when you're looking at the ideology, you're not really seeing what's happening behind it, or what the nature of the thing that's behind it. So you have to kind of make qualitative evaluation of it. What are the qualities of the thing, the monster that is behind these political parties? George Bernard Shaw. Now, George Bernard Shaw was a founding member of the Fabian Society, famous playwright. I was just reading a quote from him the other day. I don't want to punish anyone, but there are a large number of people I would like to kill. Right from, I didn't make it up. It's from his own mouth.
Yeah, no Mark Twain or Oscar Wilde wit. No.
He expressed admiration for the genocide of both Hitler and Stalin, but his objection was they should have killed the working class instead. Now, that doesn't sound like the Labor Party to me. Now, Stalin disapproved of Fabianism because he preferred a sudden, swift, and violent revolution, as opposed to the Fabians acting very slowly and very deliberately over long periods of time.
Right.
Stalin considered the Fabians to be pathetic and weak. And kind of the one thing that I agree with Stalin about, gender distinctions to be eliminated. Everyone would be wearing gray jumpsuits. All non-socialists would have to be eliminated. He really did write all those things, and he was the founding guy.
He said all whites must be eliminated. George Bernard Shaw said that.
Yes.
That's
All white or all not?
I think it was a sort of a stand-in for Western civilization or European civilization, which was the values of which would have to be overturned in order to bring in their global dictatorship. Another famous Fabian was H.G. Wells, who wrote The Open Conspiracy: Blueprint for World Revolution. It was called The Open Conspiracy because it was hidden in plain sight. Hidden in plain sight means hidden but discoverable, easily discoverable if you want to know. And the big question is, do we really want to know? And if we are presented with information that contradicts our most cherished beliefs, does cognitive dissonance take over, and does it get shoved into the subconscious? So he wrote The Open Conspiracy, New World Order, another book by his, and The Time Machine. So it was to establish human control over the destinies of life, to liberate from present dangers and uncertainties. And this is an important aspect of it, because eliminating dangers and uncertainties is part of the transhumanist agenda. It's to take away all the decision making. You don't have to worry about it. We'll take care of it for you. We will keep you safe. How often do we hear that? Like even the Jacobins, their form of government was called the Committee of Public Safety. It's all about keeping you safe. You don't have to worry. We will protect you. It's not like we're going to go back into the womb or something like that, where we're smothered with protection and safety and safe places. And I was just reading the other day about schools in England. Children are given a code, and they have to give this code to the teacher when they want a comfort break. They want to be comforted. And we don't do applause anymore, because that could hurt your
Neutrinos.
ears. Yeah. So it's a little bit like the toxic parent. Did you ever come across the book Toxic Parents?
No.
Toxic parents are parents who smother their children, not out of love, but out of a desire to tie them to their parents forever. They don't want them to fly from the nest. They don't want them to grow up.
Yeah, Elvis's mother was one of those. Yeah.
They want to keep them in a kind of infantile state and to hobble them or to cripple them. And I'm going to flip right now, while I think about it, to the last one on the list, Eloi and Morlocks. In the time machine, the protagonist goes to the future. He sees two races of people, the Eloi and the Morlocks. The Morlocks were living subterraneously, and they were predators, and they were preying on and cannibalizing the Eloi that lived on the surface. The Eloi that lived on the surface were kind of a very passive, almost zombie-like race of people that were unmotivated. And there was a case where there was a girl drowning in a lake, and they were all just standing there looking like a bunch of zombies, with no reaction. It's almost like they had become like potted plants. So this is the trajectory of that kind of trying to eliminate all risk, all uncertainty. It's like we're standing at a fork in the road where one direction goes a human direction, the other one goes in a transhuman direction. One is a biological future, the other is a silicon-based future. The world would be politically, socially, economically unified. This will ultimately be a world religion, which kind of ties into my own thesis that it's all religion. Scientism will take us there, but scientism in the sense of, going back to Bentham, scientism, there's no other way to discover reality other than through the scientific method, whereas the Gnostic would say, no, we have this divine connection, and Themis would say, we have this sense of justice which is not rational, not logical. We have a sense of justice. We have a feeling for justice.
Materialism, in other words, really.
Absolutely. Scientific materialism. They don't want to leave this material reality. They want to stay here themselves, and they want to keep us here with them.
Well, they don't think there's anywhere else to go, right?
Either that, or they're afraid of where they're going to go or what's going to happen if they leave.
Right.
Maybe either one or the other. Yeah. Formation of and subordination of personal life to a responsible world directorate. Obstacles: family, nation, and religion. We have to eliminate the family, the nation, and the religion. Why? I'm going to go to Orwell. O'Brien, the chief tormentor, is tormenting Winston, and O'Brien says to Winston, there's no other love than the love of Big Brother, and there's no other loyalty than loyalty to the party. Mm-hmm. So what does family, nation, and religion represent? It represents another love and another loyalty, and that's why they want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. And another authority, right?
And another authority, yes. Another form of authority, yes. Say what you will about it. I mean, you don't have to be, the Brady Bunch or Leave It to Beaver, but it does represent an alternative, let's say, to global government.
Yeah. Pretty dark. I don't even know what to say. Same as it ever was. And like 1984 says, what does O'Brien says, power is not the means, it's the end. In other words, we'll get there and we're going to rule because we just want to rule. That's it. There's no altruistic idealized. At least Lenin had an ideal, but these other cats, Stalin and the Fabian Society, it's just control. Like the Demiurge and the Argo.
Absolutely, yes.
Paradoxically, it's a form of
Okay,
individualism, right? It's the people who want to take over the world, they want everything their way. As an individual, they want to ignore everybody else. So in a way, it's a form of individualism, but they need collectivism to be the top individual.
yeah. And when they talk about being socialists, what they really mean is collectivist.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Obviously, from what we've just seen, they're not in favor of the working class. They recruited from the ultra wealthy and the privileged. And that's where it's coming from. Now, this is a stained glass window that was commissioned by H.G. Wells, now on display at the London School of Economics, which was founded by Fabians.
Mm.
And it ties again in this with this religious theme. You know, they're kind of making my case for me here that politics is very close to religion, sets of doctrines. And here we at the bottom we have prayerful supplicants on their knees, worshiping what? A pile of literature produced by the Fabians.
Oh, so sweet.
And here we have H.G. Wells himself with another cat that I can't remember his name, but they're on a forge and a bellows, so they're forging a new world order. And the next one, please.
And where's this found?
It's at the London School of Economics.
Wow. Well, instead of, stealing the Louvre or throwing paint on the Mona Lisa, we need to go on a tour and take care of this one. I didn't say that. All right, let's go to the other slide.
Okay, that's the emblem. The original coat of arms of the Fabian Society is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Giving away the plot.
What else do you need to know? So who is the wolf? The wolf is all these genocidal maniacs, eugenics, mass murder, extermination, labor camps. And who is the sheep? Well, that's the face that they put on, this progressive, oh, we're here to help. We're here to take away all your pain, and to take away all the vicissitudes of life and all the uncertainties and the dangers of life. I got to mention a song that came up from a local band called the Great Balancing Act. They're a local group in a very small community, and it's amazing the amazing talent that exists at the grassroots level everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are catapulted to great fame or were put there actually or helped by these Fabian types. But the song has some very interesting lyrics. It starts out, stay safe, stay out of trouble, be like the boy in the plastic bubble, the Eloi.
Oh.
Danger, danger everywhere. Dangerous people breathing dangerous air. Stay in your bungalow, it's safer in there.
Join Patreon AB Prime or Red Circle and get the full episode and podcast summary and other cool bonuses. Clean episodes on a private RSS feed. Exclusive stream shows early and no more commercials. Support Eon Byte.